Arr, mateys, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt. Got an ammunition review today for you all. This is from AAC, or America's Ammunition Company, owned by the same holding company that owns Palmetto State Armory. This is their Sabre blade black tip 123 grain 7.62x39mm in steel case, a brand new offering made in America. Let's throw this guy on the table and talk about what we're going to do today. Now, in full transparency, the fine gentleman over at AAC sent this over for me to review with no strings attached. I do have an affiliate set up with Palmetto State Armory, and that earns me a sales commission if I send you a link and you make a purchase. But I try to be as transparent as possible when doing these reviews when they send me things, because I'm here to give you guys as much data as possible and in an unbiased manner. For our 7.62x39 testing, we have a wide variety of barrel lengths from 10.5 inches all the way up to and including 20 inches thanks to Atlantic Firearms. They were able to source me a Hugo M59 variant at cost, so that's a big help to the channel. It's around 60 to 65 degrees outside today. We have our Pro Chrono Pal Digital DLX as always. We're looking for a general reliability in this particular round since this is a brand new steel case offering from AAC. After we've collected our velocity, we're going to step out to around 100 yards to see what kind of practical accuracy we can get out of this round, and then we're actually going to shoot it in ballistics gel, mainly because this black tip is a ballistic tip. It's not black tip as in armor piercing, so I'm curious if we're going to get any kind of expansion out of this, and this may be somewhat of an ideal personal protection or home defense load. And after all that, we'll send you on your merry way. We'll start off our velocity string with our shortest barrel length. This is our M92 Path SBR. It's actually the first gun I did a Form 1 on. Now into our AR in 7.62x39, we've got the Duramag in here. This is a BRN-180 from Brownells. A big thank you to them for sending this over a little while ago. It does have an extra power hammer spring in it. I figured while we had the BRN-180 out, we might as well throw the suppressor on here. This is the Yankee Hill Phantom M2. Yankee Hill actually fixed this for me at the beginning of the year. I had 10 years through it and finally had a baffle end cap strike with some M2 armor piercing. Nice. Good function there. On to our 16-inch AK. This is our Palmetto State Armory GF3. Same one I did a 3,000 round torture test on. I'm not sure how many rounds it has in it now. Probably 4,000 to 5,000 if I had to guess. On to our other 16-inch. This is from M&M Industries. This is the M10XZ Gen 3. Very nice setup so far. I like that we can throw a muzzle device on the end of our barrel so we can put some suppressors on there. It's got adjustable gas. Very nice little setup here. And now on to our 20-inch. This is a Hugo variant SKS. A big thank you to Atlantic Firearms for making me a deal on this. So now when we do any armor testing or ammunition testing, we have the wide variety of our 7.62x39 barrel lengths. Nice. Here is our Sabre blade black tip 123 grain ballistic tip at 100 yards. We're using the M&M Industries M10XZ Gen 3. We have a 18 power first focal plane scope on there. Unsuppressed, our first group was 2.283 inches, not too shabby for an AK loading. We threw our JK armament rifle kit on there, and then we shot 2.039 inches. Our best was our third group after we let it cool a little bit, 1.789 inches. There's some other shots in here from prior shooting, but that's pretty respectable. It's around 75 degrees outside today. All right, ladies and gents, let's try this in our clear ballistics gel. I have a 6x6x16 block down there. It's been melted, I think, once or twice. It's still pretty clear. I'm very curious if this will provide us with expansion in our shorter barrel lengths. It's kind of what we lack in 7.62x39, our viable self-defense personal protection loads. Mainly our full metal jackets have tons and tons of penetration. We're looking at 18 to 21 inches or thereabouts per the FBI spec, and there's not a whole lot of self-defense ammunition. So if this does expand from our shorter barrel lengths and has good enough penetration depths, it might be an ideal self-defense load. Excellent shot. You'll have to forgive me because it's kind of hard to see these wound cavities, but we're looking at very similar performance on all three barrel lengths. We have looks to be about a 2-inch neck on most of those rounds, maybe 1.5 inches on our 16-inch, but very, very nice. We've got a decent wound cavity extending out past the 12-inch mark. I would say almost the full 16 inches of the block we have good terminal ballistics. And then as far as penetration depths go, we'll go back and look at those wound channels in a second. Our 10.5 inch hit 23.5 inches, a little more than necessary. Our 16 inch hit an ideal right around 19.5, and then our 20 inch hit right around 21.5 inches. It looks like we got expansion on all of those, so that is very ideal. This is our 16-inch wound track at the bottom. As you can see, we have good wound track throughout that second half of the block, and that's where we need a lot of that destruction to occur, past that 6 to 7 inch mark at least. That is my understanding, and again, this is clear gel. Organic gel results may vary, and I feel given the velocity thresholds that our 7.62x39 has and the bullet weights that it uses, we're not going to see that violent fragmentation that we see in 5.56, you know, those really fast, above 3,000 feet per second rounds, and that violent fragmentation. So we're going to need something that has good terminal effect out to our penetration depths of, 12 to 18 inches. And it would seem an expanding round like this or a soft point does very well. Our typical Russian hollow points typically don't expand, mainly because the jacket is very, very thick on them, and they pretty much just act like a full metal jacket. And this wound track right here is the 10.5 inch. Let's pull these out of gel and see what they look like. There are our marching orders, the 10.5 inch, 16, and 20. Expanded over very nicely. We'll get some measurements on these for minimum and maximum diameter, length, and retained weight. But very impressive from that Sabre blade black tip. Just could use a little more velocity. Well, everyone, I would say our Sabre blade black tip load in 7.62x39 performed very nicely. We had expansion through all three of our barrel lengths in our gel testing. We had a little more than needed penetration wise, but we did get terminal effect out of it, and I would consider this probably a good offering if you're looking for something for self-defense and personal protection. As far as our velocity goes, these were hotter than the full metal jackets that we tested on the same day, but they still fell a little bit short of what the box stated velocity of 2375, which I did confirm with AAC was done out of a 20-inch barrel. So they could dial up that velocity a little bit, and we would probably get a little more expansion out of that and possibly a little less penetration. As far as our accuracy goes, nothing to write home about. It seems like every time I bring out anything in 7.62x39mm, our accuracy at 100 yards is anywhere from 2 to 4 MOA. At some point, I should pick up an Ruger American bolt gun and see if we can get any better accuracy out of this cartridge. But that's why I always say your mileage may vary. The Soviet slick coating that they're using on our steel cases seem to perform within function. Generally speaking, the lacquer and or coating on our steel cases is to prevent any type of corrosion. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number one is my family. They come out here a lot to help me get some stuff done, and they do enjoy some shooting too. Number two is my Subscribestar, Patreon, and YouTube channel members. I have my little campsite link in the description below. It's a little landing page that has various links. You know, I have an affiliate with Palmetto State Armory, so if you buy anything through that link, it earns me a sales commission and it costs you nothing. And I put all that money right back in the channel by either buying longer barrel lengths or different guns, so that when we do these testings, we have a huge data set for you guys to walk away with. Number three is Jamin and Josiah over at AAC PSA. Again, in full transparency, sent me that ammunition ahead of launch to review with no strings attached. And of course, number four is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.